Hey Willie, thank you so much for your video contribution to the class. I really appreciated your video. I really appreciated just how rooted you were in the readings. I need to do a better job of that, referencing things a little better as I talk generally about things. But I really appreciated how much of the reading you really were diving deeply into to support your positions and not just talking about it, but really even saying where you got it. I really liked how you pointed out the strengths of the existential therapy approach, just how it doesn't just rely or say that, oh yes, my technique or I'm objective, but it is able to not have a broader sense of what it needs to happen versus just saying, oh, this is always going to be objective. And I did appreciate that you pointed out that I didn't catch this myself, but I really liked how you pointed out that the definitions that a therapist or a client would use when they talk about things like the here and now or how they define how things are going, because it can be really broad how you personally would approach that. It's really a challenge to nail down, well, what's really been accomplished, because I might use a term a different counselor uses as we review something, but there might be a clash that is not always evident because we mean different things. And I think that is a really good thing to point out. I also really liked how you point out with the Gestalt. And this is something, I like Gestalt in comparison and contrast for myself, but I did like that you pointed out that it is too humanistic, that this idea that humans are, this high view of humanity without a recognition of our sin and our limitations, I would argue, and I think you would agree, that it could lead to bad conclusions or approaches because you aren't being as realistic about human nature as is true. And so that is a great thing to be able to recognize when you're applying or thinking through a Gestalt theory. And I loved where you went in Scripture, your quotes, especially from Deuteronomy. I think they're really great truths that speak to those areas and how they either align or clash and show us just where Scripture kind of speaks in these areas. I think you did a really good job just going through all of that. The only thing I kind of struggle with is when you got to our last section, which I kind of did as well, is explaining the challenges with having those measurable outcomes, setting up that process. I don't know if I was totally following where you're going with that, explaining why they're a challenge or how you perceive the challenges from a therapist standpoint of creating or planning out a measurable outcome. But overall, great video. Really appreciate your contribution to the class. Hope you're having a great week.